Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ecole Polytechnique's webinar. Thank you for your interest and thank you for joining us. My name is Pamela, and I'm in charge of the promotion of the different Masters of Science and Technology programs. And joining me today is Lily Toucteau and Stéphane Bouchonnet. So I will let them introduce themselves.
Well, Lily.
Hi, everyone. I'm the admissions manager for the MSc&T programs. I'm glad to see you joining us today.
Hello, everyone. I'm the head of the MSc&T program in general, and more specifically, I'm the director of this one, Engineering and Sustainability Management. Yeah.
Thank you. So as you know, today we're going to present to you Ecole Polytechnique, as well as the MSc&T and Environment, Engineering and Sustainability Management and its admission process. Just for your information, before starting, we will take all of your questions at the end of the presentation. So feel free to use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen to ask anything related to the program and the presentation. So what is Ecole Polytechnique? A few key facts about the school. For those who don't know, Ecole Polytechnique is the French leading institute in science and technology, based in Palaiseau, so 20 kilometers away from Paris, and was created in 1794. We're one of the best world university for students' employability, and we are very proud of that. And we have about 3,600 students coming from all over the world. So about 40% of international students, but also 40% of international teachers. And we offer different undergraduate and graduate programs from the bachelor degree to the PhD. The student life at Ecole Polytechnique is very important. So if you become a student of Ecole Polytechnique, you will be able to take part in almost 250 associations in cultural, artistic, social, scientific, and sporting activities. The campus itself offers many services, such as a bank, a hairdresser, post office, therapist, but also many facilities such as library, research labs, innovation center, catering, etc. And lots of events are organized throughout the year, professional events, student events, and cultural events to allow students to make memories, enjoy their time, but also network and be prepared for their future career. So I will let Stéphane present to you the MSc&T.
Yes, thank you, Pamela. So what is a Master of Science in Technology is a very specific master, very different from a more classical master, such as a research master, for instance, because a research master is very focused in on one specific topic, such as informatics or chemistry, etc. And is more dedicated to students who wants to do a PhD after the master. MSc&T is more like a school of engineers. So you have, of course, science and technology engineering courses, but besides that, you have also management courses and courses dedicated to innovation and entrepreneurship. You have French humanities, languages, and sports. Okay, so that's the first reason why MSc&T is very different from a classical master. The second reason is that the teaching teams is not made only of academic professors. There are a lot of experts from big companies who come from courses, who come from roundtables. You have a scientific conference, company visits, etc. I will get back on that later, because the main goal of the program is to provide people that are operational, they are ready to work after the 2 years. So, of course, if you want to do a PhD, it remains possible, but it's not the main, I would say, the main goal is really to provide operational people who will easily find a job at the end of the master. Yeah. Next slide, please. Thank you. We mainly form engineer and project managers in a very different, very various fields. I will detail that a little bit later. And with a new concept, such as a life cycle assessment that I will present, eco-design or mixed sciences in biology, for instance, numerical simulation and modeling. And as I told already before, besides the lecture, you have many case studies, many practical work, many field trips. And especially for this master, there is a minimum of 6 field trips per year, plus the company visit, plus the roundtable and the seminar with experts. So really a ready-to-work program. Yes, please, Pamela, what? Okay, our partners. So we have public and private partners. For foreign students, I don't know if you know our public partners, because they are, I don't know if they are renowned abroad, but in IIM, in Polytechnique, are very prestigious institutes. But probably you know much better very big companies, international companies such as Suez, Veolia, who are water providers, and all of the company providing water in France as present. There is also Haute Paris and SOR. And they are very, very involved in the program. Their courses take place sometimes in the company, and they are in charge of the whole modules, for instance, for water treatment, soil remediation, and drinking water. There are mainly people from these 4 companies for the courses, and not academic teachers, because wastewater treatment, for instance, is not classically taught in universities. It's very specific to very big companies specialized in this field. Yes, and next slide, please. Okay, so this program is a 2-year program in English, of course, it's an international one. Very classically, we take students for the 2 years. It's possible to join us only for the 2nd year, but it's not recommended because it's really a whole block. Sometimes we make exceptions, but it's quite rare. We make exception for students who already have a master in engineering sustainability, and just want to retake a year for LCA, for instance. And we also make exception for people who has already worked for several years in the industry field with a strong profile, including skills in chemistry, biology, etc. But most of the time, we encourage students to attend to apply for the 1st year. Okay. So the internship is a very important component of the formation. There are 2 internships. The first one at the end of the 1st year, which for a duration of a minimum of 3 months. You are absolutely free of the place and the topic, but the topic for minimum must be related to science and or technology. For the 2nd year, you have absolutely no limitation, in the choice. It can be related to science, but it can be related to management, sociology. It's absolutely open. Okay. So on the French territory, the master are paid by the company. It's a legal obligation, and you are free to do your internship in a public institute or in a company, a big company, an international one, a startup. You can do it in France or abroad. Absolutely, it's absolutely free. And you have to know that you will be helped during the research of the internship. There is a department here at Polytechnique in charge of helping students to find the internship. We have a record of all the previous internship with the contact, with the topic, the company, the address, the contact of the people, the tutor in the company. So most of the time, at the exception of the COVID period, it was very easy to find an internship because your teacher are also here to help. And so the internship is not a problem. You will have a lot of help regarding that. Okay. What is the next? Thank you. Okay. This slide details the program of the first year. So I think I won't detail the courses one by one. It would be too long. And of course, I prefer to save some time to answer your question if you have a very specific question regarding the courses. I would say that we have typically three types of students who join us. I would say a group of students who are very, very concerned by pollution and want to find a job in the field of water treatment, drinking water, soil depollution, and wastewater management in general. So something very, very related to engineering, to the way we are going to make the analysis of water, of soil, the decontamination process, chemical process such as chlorination, ozonation, biological processes such as activated sludges, for instance, and physical process such as nanomembrane filtration. Okay, so a first group of students who really wants to work in the field of general decontamination of aquatic or terrestrial fields. Another group of students is generally mainly interested in what we call LCA, for life cycle assessment, which is a new topic existing for only a very few years, and which is the first provider of job at the end of the master. It's just terrific because with the change in regulations and laws, all the companies need people to do life cycle assessment of their products, the way they can improve the sustainability regarding the raw materials at the beginning of the creation of a thing, the distribution, the transportation, the storage. And so life cycle assessment is really, really something important now. And it's, I would say, almost a 100% guarantee of finding a job at the end of the formation. Sometimes I can have a phone call from a company. They tell me, okay, we're looking for 6 students for the internship because we absolutely need someone to introduce LCA in our company. And we are lucky because we have very, very great specialists of LCA in our master. Okay, so that's the second category of students. And the third one is students who have not a very, very accurate idea of what they want to do, but absolutely sure they wanted their career related to sustainability in general. And they want to associate a technical part with a managerial part. So we are providing a lot of consultants able to managing project that includes scientific parts and more sociological managing part, innovation, etc. Okay, so in my opinion, regarding the past, it's the 3 main categories of students. Okay, after that, if you have very specific questions on the courses, I will answer later. Well, I think the next slide is the same thing, but for the second year. Okay, so then I have nothing more to say for the moment on that. What happens after graduation? Oh, okay. It's a very wide. Some graduate students work in industry, in research, in France or abroad. We have many consultants, especially in big companies working on international projects. I would say it's really the most important categories. And what I told you before, also a very large number of students that now work on LCA program. Digital consultant, of course, for students who are especially interested in computing sciences. And I don't remember the exact percentage, but we have each year we have a few students who apply for a PhD in France or in Europe in general. And so I have recent news from students in PhD, and everything goes very well. So PhD, it's not a classical way to reach a PhD, but given that you are in close contact with industrial, that now are generally the main providers of scholarship for PhD studies, it can be a good opportunity to find a PhD, which is in France we call it. I don't remember the exact word for that, but it's a strong partnership between a university and the company. So you do your research at the university, but you're paid by the company. And the main advantage of that is that you're well paid first, and that you have a lot of chance to be engaged by the company at the end of your PhD. Yeah. Who can apply? Here again, a large question. Very classically, we recruit students with a bachelor degree in chemistry, biology, engineering in general. You have to know that I would say the ideal student does not exist for us, because the ideal students would have great skills in chemistry, biology, hydrogeology, statistics, etc., etc. So regarding the classical courses all over the world, the ideal students doesn't exist. Which is absolutely required is the minimum background in chemistry. And it's not absolutely necessary in biology, but for students who join us with no background in biology, it's strongly encouraged to read a book or to follow some courses online before joining us, even if they are a refresher at the beginning of the program. Okay, but sometimes we also take students with a very high level of motivation, who was not a very strong scientific background, but who show great skills in conducting projects, etc. So it's very wide, and we do not focus on a very specific type of students. Contrarily to, I would say, the classical, you know, for the engineer cycle of engineer in Polytechnique, where a very high level in mathematics is absolutely required. This is not the case for this formation, because the engineering devoted to water treatment, salt depollution, it requires mathematics, but not at a very high level. Okay. Okay, if you have many questions, of course you can ask us, but you can also have a discussion with some alumni, which can be a good idea. And I don't know, I think the code give access to the contact of the alumni. Is that I am okay, Pamela?
contact, but you will go on our website and be able to read the full testimonies of these two alumni.
Thank you very much. And
so yeah, feel free to scan the QR code, go on our website and find lots of different information. We have other testimonies, but we also have testimony and videos. So feel free to check on our website whatever information you can find.
okay, perfect. How can I apply? I think it's your turn, Lily, no?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. So
I still available.
yeah, please continue sending your questions in the chat, and so we will answer just after with the Q&A section. So as Stefan mentioned, you can apply to the first year or second year of master. So you will need a bachelor or a master one in order to join each one of the levels in the fields that were mentioned in the previous slide. Our Masters and Technology programs are focused on academic excellence, of course, and you really need to be motivated to join them and join this program in particular. Also, it is very important that you must be willing to evolve in an international environment, since most of our students are international. I'd say 65% of our students are international indeed. About the application procedure, so first of all, you'll need to complete our online application form. This is the first phase. And for this, you have a list of supporting documents. And the first one is the transcripts. So you need to send us the scanned copy of transcripts of all your previous post-secondary education, including exchange programs. We need the scanned copies of your degrees. And if you are currently in your last year of bachelor or master one, you'll need to upload an enrollment certificate. Okay. Then you'll also need to provide us the contact details of 2 referees, no less than 2 referees, but they have to be 2. A minimum, I'm sorry, just 2. And one of them has to be a professor from your current university or the previous one. And the other can be a professor as well, or a manager supervisor of your last internship or job. You will find a section in the application form in which you can fill out the contact details of your referees. And once done, and they'll receive an email to complete the references, and you will be notified. About the personal statement, so please respect the format that we request. In the online application form, you'll also find the questions and the template. So please respect the template. And a few examples of the questions are, for example, explain your motivation and interest, subject for which you applied. What are your career goals and plans? Be very specific. This is very important because you can provide us details about your achievements or maybe your objectives related to the program. So it is very important for us to know in order to prepare us also for the second phase, which is the interview. And we'll talk about this just later on. And be honest and be concrete and coherent in your personal statement. That's very important. This is a personal statement that would be read by professors, the academic director, and the admissions team. So please try to be as accurate as you can, and do not hesitate to be specific again. About the CV. So we need a CV, and it has to be written in English and 2 pages maximum. If it's longer, unfortunately, it would be accepted. So please try to be concise. Okay, just put what you consider would be the most remarkable for you to show in the CV. Explain your current situation. If you're doing an internship, or if you're expecting to do an internship in the summer, for example, or a job, please do it. And put it on your CV. You need to also include your academic background, extracurricular activities, personal projects, and also the past previous work experiences. Please include, if you want, referees. That's not mandatory, but if you want, you can also include reference. Some people like to do it and put reference in the CV, so that's not a problem for us. They won't be contacted, maybe, or maybe yes. It will depend on what is the evaluation of your application file. English tests. So about the English test, we require you to be proficient in English. So you need to have a minimum C1 level. And in order to prove it, you need to provide us an IELTS or TOEFL or Cambridge test. So we accept IELTS with a minimum score of 6.5 and a TOEFL with a minimum score of 90, and a Cambridge test with a C1 level. Okay, these are the only three tests that we will accept. We won't accept a TOEIC or other tests that might be, for example, provided by a university. It has to be IELTS, TOEFL, or Cambridge test. The test must have been taken less than 2 years ago. So please take into account the date of the admission results in order to see if you are in the good time frame. Okay, so for now, I would say that we accept tests taken after April 2021 for the second round. For the third round, it will be later on. It will be tests taken after the end of May of 2021. Okay, so very, very, very important to take into account the expiration date. If you don't have, if you just don't have the document, the official results for now, for the second round, you can still apply, but you will need to upload the certificate of enrollment to the test. So in case of your in case of being admitted, we will need to ask you for the official results, but you need to be at least enrolled for the test. Okay. This program doesn't require a GMAT, GRE, or Dutch match. For those who know these standardized tests, this is not mandatory. If you already taken like recently, you can upload it as a support document. Okay, that this is completely valid. You can, but it's not mandatory for this program. Also, you need a copy of your passport and a photo taken recently, no more than 6 months ago. Okay, you'll find the instructions on how what kind of photo we accept. It has to be a photo that you would use in a professional environment. So please take into account the advice that we give you in the online platform. And last but not least, you'll need to pay an application fee of 90 euros to submit your application. Okay. If your file is complete within the deadlines, the next deadline is the February 12th. You will be done. So this is the first phase. We will take around 2 weeks in order to evaluate the application file, all the documents you have sent us, and I will inform you within these 2 weeks about the admissibility results. It means that you may have been shortlisted in order to pass an interview with the academic director and admission team, or you may be unfortunately not admitted. Okay. So it takes around 2 weeks, and then you'll be invited to the interview if you're successful in this first phase. The interview lasts around 20 to 30 minutes. This is online video conference, and you'll meet a jury which is composed by the program academic directors and me and myself. So the interview is conducted entirely in English. We advise you to prepare in advance and be ready for questions, motivational questions, and also questions about your scientific culture. What have you done in your academic and professional life. We could ask you also about anything that is on your CV or your personal statement. And advice, search more about the program, try to contact current students or maybe alumni to find out more about their experiences as a candidate and a student. That may be helpful for you in order to prepare. After the interview, between 1 week or 2 weeks after, you receive the final decision. So it will be a decision made on your application, a file, and interview. Okay, so it's very important for you to focus in the interview and be very well prepared. So you'll be able to find more about the application process in the website. So just do not hesitate to take your time to check step by step what you need to do. And if you're not applying to the second round, prepare for the third one. If you need to ask for some documents, official documents, that may take a little bit of time for you to get. Or we can go to the next slide. So about tuition fees, the tuition fees for this program are 14,100 per year, and this is the fee that you will pay for both years, so it won't change. And scholarships, I will talk a little bit about financial aid, which is a frequent questions from our students. The Ecole Polytechnique Foundations has has a limited number of scholarships, so you can access to them if the assessment of your candidacy is remarkable. So the jury will decide your admission, and at the same time will decide if you are eligible for a scholarship. You don't need to send a separate application for this. All of our candidates are considered, but the jury will decide finally who are the students who will finally receive the scholarships. Scholarships can go from maybe 50% to 70% of the tuition fees per year. You can also try to get more information about other scholarships offered in other organizations, for example, Campus France, or in your specific country, you can also find our industrial organization who may be interested in sponsoring students following this type of program. So do not hesitate to do that. We have the Ecole Polytechnique Foundation scholarships, but doing some research on your own would be really helpful for you in order to plan the finance of your academic year in Polytechnique. Finally, and very important that these scholarships provided by the foundation are available only for applicants in the first and second round of admissions. So if you are applying to the second round, try to be quick in order to complete your file. If you haven't started your application yet, you still have time, just still 1 month. Yes, have 1 month until you can still submit your application. Living expenses, so we would say that it will be currently between 800 to 1,000 euros per month. I mean, living expenses taking into account the accommodation and meals and transport. If you live on campus as well, the accommodation will cost around 500 euros. So we will give you more information, of course, if you're admitted, we will send you all the details. But you can also benefit from some French national housing benefits, which is CAF. It is called CAF in France. You can get from 150 to 2,000 euros per month to help you to pay your rent. So this is one of the benefits that the students get when they decide to study in France, and there are so many more. I mean, you have a lot of discounts on access to cultural events and museums. I don't know. So apart from the academic life, you can also enjoy a lot of cultural activities in France if you are a student. We can go to the next slide. The admission calendar, as I mentioned, we are currently in the second round. So the deadline is February 12th at 5 p.m. Paris time. Be careful with that. The list of documents is online, and it's very simple. You just need to create your account and start completing your application. If you have any question, of course, you can contact us and we will be happy to help you. We can go to the next slide and show the email. Yes, this is the email to which you can contact us directly. You can ask us something about the webinar, about the program, or about the admission procedure. You can scan the QR code that you see right now in the screen, and you will get to our website directly. If we can just come back a little bit to the calendar, please. So yeah, we are currently in the second round, but there is a third one, which has a deadline in the April 30. So the third round will start right after the second round deadline is done. So since February 13th, you will be able to start your application for the third round. Okay. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to put that all the questions in the chat. And that's it. I think we can go to the Q&A section now.
We have some questions. Someone wants to know where can be more info found on the partnership with MNCs and international organizations.
What is MNCs?
Multinational companies.
Multinational company. Okay. There is a list of partners regarding all the internship, but as far as I know, the list is only available once you register to the program. So yeah, we have a website with the list, but the website, it's just for people who are still at school, often to help them to find their internship. So I don't know if we are allowed to communicate the email address to all the partnerships in the framework, I mean, of internships. But this, I don't know what's the question, but you can send us mails and I will, I can communicate it, but not publicly, I think.
Okay. Okay, so feel free to send us the email so that you can get maybe the list. Another person wants to know if French language, if there is any requirement about the French language.
No, there is no requirement. Actually, we have, as I mentioned, 65% of our students are international and most of them are not French speaking. So they follow a French language course when they join the program, and it's part of their curriculum. So on the go, they will also learn French. So it's not actually something that will block them from applying or finding an internship or a job in France. Actually, France is becoming more and more international, and you will find a lot of multinational companies who are looking for English speaking and native English speaking, or just fluent English speaking people who can join their teams. So the answer will be that actually French is not mandatory, and actually would be an advantage for you, of course, if you decide to learn French before coming, because it will help you to enjoy a little bit more the integration to the campus, the program, and the life in France in general. If Stefan, you want to add something, you can also.
No, it's okay. We have language courses, so you will have a huge choice between or long Russian, Chinese, etc. But if you don't speak French at all when getting at the school, you will have no choice. You will have to choose French. Okay. But no, to answer the question, I'm okay with you, Lily. It's not absolutely a problem.
Can we apply for this master with a bachelor's degree in economics? And can we apply for several masters of the Ecole Polytechnique?
So, okay, you can apply to several masters, no problem. Now, regarding the bachelor degree in economics, I would say it depends. Last year and the year before, we admitted some students with a bachelor in economics because they had in parallel a minor in sciences. It was not only economics. One student had chosen minor in microbiology and the other one a minor in analytical chemistry, I think. So given that McGill is a very good university, we said, okay, and we admitted both students. But I would say economics is not the classical way of to join us. If I would say if there is only economics in the master, I would say rather no. But if there is economics and a course related to sustainability or sciences, can be discussed.
Thank you. Someone wants to know if the C1 level in English is mandatory because actually the person has now a B2 level.
Yeah, actually, as I mentioned, a C1 level is very important because first of all, the programs are fully in English and you need to be able to understand and accomplish all the assignments in English. So that's for you, that's very important for you indeed. And as I mentioned also, there is a specific score that we request for IELTS is 6.5. An overall score of 6.5 and it has to be the academic version. In the case of the TOEFL, the minimum score that we accept is 90 and a Cambridge test Cambridge test, it would be C1 level.
Thank you.
Sorry, there is the last question. I can see it's regarding the TOEFL. And there is a student asking, because you just said it's the required level is 90, and he said, would you
we don't unfortunately, yeah,
86 is no?
Yeah, but unfortunately we cannot make an exception for 87. It is very important for us to have a minimum of that the student is really prepared actually to follow the courses in English. So 87, unfortunately, I mean, I would need to see your tests and in which section you did the worst, let's say, let's put it like that, and which section you did the best. Because 87, unfortunately, doesn't accomplish with the requirement.
Okay.
I am currently attending the first year of a master's degree in chemical engineering for the sustainable development in Italy, and I wanted to know if the transfers are accepted in the second year.
So if I understand well, this student is currently in Italy for the first year, and
yes,
she would do the second year here.
Yes, she would like to know if transfers are accepted.
Are the transfers accepted?
Actually, she will need to, Lucrezia, she will need to apply.
Yeah, you need to, okay, you need to apply. So the question is, should I apply to the first year or to the second year? As I just said before, we prefer students applying for the first year, but if I think Lucrezia, I think so, it's a student, she provide a transfer with very good grades, and if we can just check that the content of the program, of the first year program, matches a minimum, it should be okay. It depends of the academic file, of course, but yeah, I would not talk about a transfer, but an application straight to second year.
Yeah, Lucrezia, you can apply to the second year, and if we see that the academic requirements are not fulfilled, we may suggest you to do the first year. Again, that is another alternative. So yeah, it's about a new application, but we don't accept transfers because we don't have currently partnerships with Italian universities in its program.
I will just
yes,
so
you wanted to
just
ask something?
About the way the reason why we prefer welcoming students at the beginning. I mean, at the first year, it's first of all, of course, it's for academical reason and the content of the program. It's also because this program needs a very, very strong team spirit. There are very lots of common projects, and I think it may be a little bit difficult for students who join the second year, because all the students of the first year have already made friends, and they have already made working groups, etc. That's part of the reason why we prefer students attending applying for the first year. But if the motivation is good and the grades are good, we make some exceptions, of course. Yeah.
Is there any support for Ukrainian holding permanent residency?
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some support from the government, and maybe scholarships. It will depend actually on the student situation and the quality of their application. And actually, scholarships are merit-based, but we also take into account social criteria. And that's for the academic part or academic fees, but also the French government has some help programs for Ukrainian citizens.
Yeah, we don't know what will be the situation for in September, but for the moment we have special helps for Ukrainian students. Yeah.
I think we answered all of the questions. If there is anything you would like to add, Lily and Stéphane, feel free to before closing the webinar. Is there maybe any tip that you would like to share?
No, it's okay for me. I will also. I'm also okay to answer by mail if students wants to join me by mail for very specific questions regarding the program or the problem. I think my address email is the flash code, no?
No.
But the admission team can transfer me the mail. So no problem. Yeah.
Yeah, and also about partnerships and multinationals in the abroad, you can also find some alumni in LinkedIn, and you will be able to see where they are working. And this is actually very accessible, and most of you must be active on LinkedIn, so don't hesitate to make your research. And you can also talk to them directly if you want. They are really actually open to answer your question if they have the time. Of course, they'll be willing to do so. So that can be a very, very good source of information if you're looking for, if you want to see what they are doing right now in an international. Okay.
We have one last question. Is there any chance for an application fee waiver to be granted to applicants?
No. No, actually, we do not waive application fees. We only if we have a partnership with the university, which we actually in this program we don't. So the answer is no.
Thank you. Okay, so I think that we are going to end the webinar. Once again, if you have other questions, feel free to reach Lily at GD Admissions. Feel free to scan the QR code so that you can read the different testimonies, get in touch with the different alumni, and be on our website and check the different information to apply. And you will be able to find the replay if needed on our YouTube channel. Thank you so much and have a nice day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.